Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Newcastle Gold Cup, which is the first tournament of the season for the National Championships in Australia, held up here in the Port Stephens region. My name's John Greenfield. I'm here with the main commentator, Dan Clinton, who's just knocked down a hot dog provided by the staff here, and it wasn't that good, Dan.
It was. It hit the spot, that's for sure, and great tournament that Newcastle put together here. Gold Cup, it's been running for 10 years now, I think.
Yeah, it started off at Newcastle University, but it's kind of shifted north as the tournament director lives north, and it's just got closer and closer to his house. That's Tim Hayes. You can't blame him for that. The man has 3 kids. He runs a gym in Port Stephens, Nelson Bay, and he finds time to run this tournament as well.
Yep. And one of the great tournaments of the year. I think he's due. He's due for Tournament of the Year and TD of the Year, I think. It's been looked over the last, ever since he started running it. But I think he's due because it's always well organised here. The food is always on time. The water's always full. You know, the fields are well marked. And, well, if it wasn't for a massive storm that Newcastle received last weekend, the draw is also out on time. But Tim was without power for about four days. 10,000 people in Newcastle were without power, and a lot of Raymond Terrace and Nelson Bay. Yeah, we're in the dark for an extended period of time. So he only really got his internet and his power back on Tuesday this week, but still got the draw out, got everything happening, and we're here in the midst of another successful Gold Cup, another brilliant iteration. This game in front of us, we're going to watch Manly Mullets from Sydney. They're going to play Mammoth down from Queensland. Great to see the Queenslanders, the Banana Benders, here for the Gold Cup, because this is an opportunity for them to get some really high competition prep in ahead of their Nationals campaign.
Yeah,
and not exactly common for them to be able to play some of these New South Wales teams outside of Nationals, so they're giving themselves a chance. And we welcome them to the unofficial official start to the 2025 season. It's Noah Moss sees Dave Andrews going. And line it up, young man. Noah Moss, one of the superstars from Manly Ultimate.
Wow, what a start. Jeez, he got some purchase. Noah got purchase on that flick. I didn't think he was going to out-attempt. There's a slight breeze, ladies and gentlemen, coming from right to left across your screen. So Noah threw that into a slight breeze, and he got the edge just right with some really hot defense. But that underneath that is Dave Andrews, the brother of Rob Andrews, who and both of them played Dingoes, the top Australian team last year. But the reach there of Dave Andrews, his ability to adjust on the fly, was exceptional. So that would have given Noah a lot more confidence to know that Dave Andrews was on the end of that.
Noah Moss, one of these Manly Ultimate products that turned into a bit of a prodigy factory down there on the beach in Sydney. Just continual stars that they're turning out these days.
Yeah, and great to see Noah. The original stars, like the Butler brothers, actually moved across, and quite a few moved across to Sunder, and Sunder sort of absorbed them in to the detriment of Manly. But now the Manly players can see the pathway through to rep teams, through to glory for Manly itself. So it's great to see them staying in the fold.
Jake Betson there with the pull. And so Mammoth, for the first time, they're going to have a crack. Alex Leask, one of the stalwarts. The offhand lefty break. Mammoth brought a massive roster down. Here's Leask. Has the outcut. Sebastian Brown. Well, that's a hot one off hand catch. It's well done in the end. Leask The give-go dominator. Leask gets up the line. Leask into the end zone. Beard on the defense. Leask takes it out of bounds. He's going to claim the goal.
That's an interesting one.
Did he look?
We
Go
talk
on.
about a controlled release after a catch. He hit the ground and then was ground stripped. However, I think you could argue it was down officially, but I think he could argue, well, that was probably a foul. So, but there's a few Manly players sort of on the sideline asking the question. Right now, I'm hoping Alex is okay. That was quite a tough landing.
And I think Alex Leask, experienced campaigner, got it up and walked off. Yep.
Yeah.
He sold it well. He didn't. He wasn't. He's not going to put himself into any mischief. Kind of looking sheepish or unconfident. He was just like, "Yep, that was goal. See you later, guys. Let's continue on."
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe.
I actually love that about Alex Lees. I think he's one of the smartest players. I reckon he's the smartest player on Mammoth by some stretch. But he's just he's a very good player. Knows the game, understands spacing. Has a good read. So, and as you say, enough nous there to just get up and walk off, job done. When there certainly was some questions asked by the Manly players there.
It was Dave Andrews looking in puzzlement towards his players on the field. He noticed it.
Now,
I think the right outcome in the end of the day,
yeah,
though.
I think he copped a bump, as you say. I think it was going to be a foul anyway. You could argue that they would have forced him up to the end zone line, but yeah, come on, guys.
So Noah Moss.
All right.
Gestures for the brick, 1-1 on serve.
Now, it's interesting. So we've got a Horo set up, and so let's see what they do with this initial setup. They're bringing it up to the brick. So, again, Noah Moss
just the
is in
wind.
range of the goal here. So
yeah, just the wind at the moment. Looks like Noah's starting to fill out a little bit. It looks like there's a little bit of muscle under that long sleeve jersey that he sports. And he's going to reach again. Another outside in fleek. But this time the defense arrives.
Well, I did
Alex
say
Osborne.
He was in range for the shot. He just held up that little bit into the breeze. Enough for the defender to get there. That was a great effort from the defender, 99.
I think Moss obviously knows Sasha Bell, his target, and I think got caught out there by Alex Osborne's turn of pace. He accelerated. Low throw, they go quick to Mammoth. And through Luna. Grimmond. Always a squirrely player, Liam Grimmond. Goes back to Luna. Grimmond, the reset, stepping up, trying to get something. Oh, that's a hot one. Too much enthusiasm, Kevin Mello. Moss gets the disc, goes fast, Diggo. Matt Diggins hitting the end zone, and I think Diggins wanted that. Now, Andrews. Sasha Bell. Victor Young.
What a contrast to the Div 2 game that we've just seen.
It's just pace and intensity, isn't it? That difference. Now, there's poaching off the back. Andrews finds some space. Moss is in the end zone. Moss for the score, and Manly, after a brief stutter, they get the turn back and then convert 2-1.
No surprise, Noah Moss at the centre of things, whether it's the initial huck that failed to scoring the goal himself. Watch him burn up the line here. He's got quite a bit of pace if he's tested on it. So he's able to make that play. But early signs good. I tell you what, in that sequence on the initial transition from Brisbane, Grimo putting out a couple of very feisty downwind backhands that were absolutely on point. I thought they were touch and go options, but he nailed them. He's got an exceptional backhand. His backhand is something to behold. He can use it on breaks. He can use it on hucks. He can use it on forward passes with touch, as we just saw. So I actually think the signs are pretty good there. That was just a bounce catch off the chest there. unexpected on a transition. So game on, Dan.
I'm really glad that you're here to cover this one with me because it has popped out a little bit out of nowhere. I didn't realise that we were covering these two so early.
Yeah.
But love to have a look at these two teams early in this season because you anticipate that, well, Mammoth, they're perennial contenders. Certainly latter stages, they make it to the knockout point. And the Manly team is making it there as well. Leask is going to test the defence and, there's enough pressure. It goes through hands and it ends up with Kucharski who hatches it for Mammoth.
Kucharski there. I love that. I love seeing players back up, ready for the crumbs. And that's exactly what happened there. It was an exceptional effort from the Manly defender to get a piece of that. I thought Leask had done enough with that flick. He put enough dog on it that I thought he was in front and that was going to be an easy goal. But, geez, Manly did well there.
Yeah, Nick Lyer, I think it was, on the block. He got in there. Wow.
So, and what's interesting, Dan, we looked last year at these two teams. It was a very disappointing year from Mammoth. I think it came either...
It's hit and miss, hasn't it? In the last couple of years for Mammoth, it's been...
They were 11 for 12 last season.
Yeah.
Right? But they've got a lot of talent up there. You looked at the list and went, that's a good set of players. Unable to put it together on the field last season. And I think when considering that they won it in 2018, and...
It's a big... And I feel like there's a big fall from coming first, not so long ago to, struggling to even
11th.
making the quarters.
Yeah. And remember that they've sewn up their region every year as well. They don't have to fight for that. And that's part of the problem. They're not tested the early stages, which is why they're here, right?
Yeah, north of the border, there's not really that top-tier team that will test them and take it to them. Their competitors have always been here in either New South Wales or even Victoria. That's a high one and a hot one, so Mammoth get a turn. And now in comes Honey. Perry coming off a really good Dingo season. Honey goes back the other way. Perry in the end zone. Mammoth, they get a break early.
Wow. Okay, that's a little alarm bell for Manly. They're just a little tad too casual. That throw lifted in the breeze. The thrower needs to recognise that, know that was going to happen. That made it too hot for Noah. But what was really impressive was the offense on transition there from Mammoth. Through the hands, nothing hard at all. Just clean, crisp, ultimate into the goal.
In terms of preparation, John, what if we just talk kind of out there, theoreticals, hypotheticals. If you were putting together a championship run, how would the season look? When would you start training? What would those first few tournaments look like?
Well, get your team sorted before the end of the year. That's key. Key number one.
The year before.
The year before. So sort that out at the end of the year. In fact, the club itself needs to get going. At the committee level, needs to lay the foundation right. Where are we training? Who's going to be the coach? What kind of team? All right, let's sort all of that out. So that's the start. And then I think this is the latest you should be testing your team out right here, which is why Brisbane are here, I think.
And it looks like they've brought their full list as well. So Manly back on offense, and he's out. Zhao just not liking what he's seeing down the field, so he resets it back to Betson. Climbing up there, Sasha Bell. Bell, that's a beautiful backhand. Back out to Victor Jung. And Jung sees something, he's going to test. The defense, there's lots of numbers there. Moss arrives, but it's over the top. A block for Kevin Mello.
There's a foul call, Dan.
Okay.
I must say, I didn't like the look. There was too much traffic down there. I think his eyes lit up to see Noah going long, to be honest. But in the end, there was enough traffic there to cause trouble. I don't think that is a foul. I don't think it's a foul. The reason is there just wasn't significant contact. This was, again, almost akin to a pat grab. 3 players going up. In fact, the Brisbane player was first there. I don't see how you can call that a foul.
Yeah, the replays roll on. Looks like it'll come back to Young, which I don't really think he minds having another look there.
No, look, it was an early shot. I tell you what, the technique was brilliant. I just think there was too much traffic down there to warrant the option. What I liked was he got low and gave it a little bit of sit, just enough to hit the back of the end zone.
So, last year, Mammoth came 10th out of 12. So, and we'll talk more about previous results. Oh, Moss just going straight for Sasha Bell.
What a look. That's the class of Noah Moss. You know, he's feeling it. That kind of throw is one that you can't do consciously too far, right? You see the option and you just let your body take over. You don't want to be thinking too much about the mechanics of that throw because you've got to get over a defender on a hammer to leave enough blade to sit for your receiver. So that is beautiful to watch.
Manly, they came 6th last year, John.
Yes.
In Nationals.
Well, that's the thing. Manly had a great run last year. That's after the previous year coming 11th or 12th. In fact, I think they came dead last. So they've built from that. What is great is they kept the core of their team. They didn't add people externally necessarily. These are still very much, you could say Ernie's come into the fold. In fact, okay, Dave Andrews. All right, no, there is a few players now. I'm looking down the line. They have added some players. But I still feel like this is very much a Manly brand, that those players have come in. They're not dominating. So Alfie there I can see on the line. He's come over from Outbreak. So yes, they have brought some players over.
Yeah, a 1-7 mark coming last in 2023, but last of Div 1. So,
yeah,
you know, something for them that they've built on. Coming 6th last year, that, you know, potentially there's a semi-final in Manly's near future. I know that that's probably where they'll be aiming to get to. Joel Cook goes back to Tom Anderson, who moves it fast down the field. Cameron back to Cook. Oh, and there's a big bid. Trying to get some pressure on this. It fumbles a little bit. Cook goes to the end zone, overdoes it.
That
Cook's
is a killer.
overcooked it.
He's overcooked the final pass, and he's shown the bottom of the disc to the wind. Fatal error. Goes at the Leask was so free. It just needed a simple throw to him. It didn't need to be overcooked like that. Now Mammoth find themselves on D when they'd worked it so beautifully to the final pass.
Ernie Zhao. Another lefty. That rangy style. Here's Alfie Edgeworth. Sporting the Pit Vipers. Caleb Miller. Cameron Jewell. Zhao gets the reset. Zhao instead goes to break side. Jake Betson. Another lefty. Zhao. They're slow. And there's the big layout block. Jewell just slowing down, and James Cameron makes the play.
James Cameron, that's exactly. Oh, what's that? That wasn't that beautiful to watch, Dan?
Yeah, James Cameron, absolute cinema.
Yep. There's nothing like a layout D from behind.
So Leask brings it in. Mammoth with a chance. Leask, oh, that is up in the air. Jules in the area. Dave Andrews arrives. Leask, he
puts his hand up and shakes his head. He knows that wasn't the play. He's got to remember, this is not a transition shot. This is their offense, and they need to hold this.
This is for Manly to go back onto original serve. Mammoth do have a break in hand. But at this stage, given the pace this game's going, I don't think the breaks will really tell too much of a tale as both teams are generating turns. Dave Andrews. Inside shot, it's gathered low. Miller. Ernie Zhao. Zhao points, he knows what he wants, and he puts the backhand up. Betson's underneath it. Or rather, it's Nick Lyer. Better by Manly. They get the shot they want.
Put that down to Ernie Zhao. He controlled that offense. He popped out when necessary for the dump passes. I thought the defender, hopefully they will look back at this tape and realise that Ernie's always going to come back. And they would rather Ernie upfield than getting these resets and firing shots like that. That was an excellent throw into the breeze. It's Ernie's favourite throw. And they were good enough to get that goal. Right, gut check here for Mammoth. That's one. They were going downwind. They had three shots at it. Now, they've got to show their mettle right here early in the season and do the job upwind, upfield, and do it in a controlled fashion with good resets. Let's see if they can put a clinical offensive point here.
Yeah, and I mentioned it in the game before that it doesn't really matter what level you're playing at. The stories and the moments stay the same in structure. You know, Mammoth have just given up the break, so Manly are back now on level pegging, or, you know, the starting terms. They're going to come down on D here, and Mammoth have to work this upwind. So, a pressure moment, okay, this is to keep it close, continue the game of, you know, trading being, you know, within 1 point of one another. They give this up, 5-3, different story. So, the moment stays the same. It's a question of execution. Can Mammoth get it done?
Yep, you're dead right. And there's enough breeze that it's knocked over your empty Coke can. So the breeze is definitely picking up.
Very
right to
scientific
left.
Measure of wind speed.
That's why you put it there, right?
Well, I think it gives an idea that the wind is a little bit blustery now, John.
Yeah, it's
gonna
coming on.
Give some shape to these throws.
Yep.
I wouldn't call it a thrower's breeze because of that bluster.
And did you see the pull there from Noah Moss? It was outside in, blade, 1-2 bounces out the back of the end zone. It's exactly what they want here.
And they're going to roll a zone though, John. This is an interesting choice by Manly. Going to a zone defense. They're going to give these throwers a chance to just sit on the disc and find the throws that they want. Kucharski. Alex Leask. O'Meara. Leask goes through the cup. Oh, that's a block, and Hills, they get the turn. The zone gets it done. Excellent play on the point by Sasha Bell. Moss looks for the fake, and then Moss gets up the line. Dominator movement, and dominate he does. They go to 5-3 to the Manly Mullets.
Consolidate that break. 5-3. Mammoth had their chance. They actually got the space. They weren't really under a lot of pressure. It was just a little miscalculation about the intensity of the defence. And that is telling at the start of a season.
Well, it's about playmaking ability, isn't it? Sasha Bell playing on the left point just lays out and makes a play.
Yeah.
And sometimes that is the difference.
Yeah.
And I think if there's one thing about this Manly team, it's that playmaking ability, that willingness to get after the Frisbee, get off your feet, make a bid. It's always been something that's been in their game, and they're starting to bring the fundamentals with that. That maybe once upon a time they weren't great throwers, and maybe once upon a time their structures were a bit messy, but
they were always athletes.
They were always athletes, and they'd always get after it. Now we're starting to see a bit of both, and it
could go anywhere.
Great season.
Yeah.
Great look for them. Semi-final. You get to a semi-final, hell, look.
Yeah.
You could get in the final very easily.
They beat Sunder last season. And they've got, from 12th to 6th What does that mean for this season? 1.
Well, mathematically speaking, yeah. They're odds-on favourite, aren't they? But
Yeah.
having said that, you've got the repeat champions in Ellipsis that they'll need to beat, and Sunder just strikes me as a wounded animal at the moment. They're missing some names. Some stars aren't playing this year, but it's not enough to write them off. And in fact, it's possibly enough to fire them up. So they prove a point. Yeah. So hurdles for all the teams to overcome this year.
Yeah, and I think with a team like Sunder, I always find them a bit too hierarchical. There's a little bit too much respect shown to the senior. It doesn't happen on IBM, I can tell you now. Opposite happens. If you're a senior member, you're treated like garbage. But so what is lovely about seeing the wounded animal without those leaders is that those hopefully some innate instincts come out of these younger players, and we'll see what they're made of. So yeah, that's Sunder. Meanwhile, back in this game, Mammoth have taken a timeout, which was really needed. As we've talked in previous games, it's about letting the garbage thoughts out, clearing the head, and coming back in with a clear head on offense to just punch it in. They're going downwind. They need to start, as they showed us, what they can do, which is really nice, clean ultimate. But Manly have something to say about that, and I must say that last point, Noah Moss again. Firstly, was the pull.
He's a problem, isn't he?
Yeah, and then his movement around the disc to give go and just blast his opponent to the point where he didn't have a mark on as he threw the leading backhand into the far end zone for the goal. So they're going to have to do something about him when he has the disc on transition. But meanwhile, they've got the disc. I want to see Mammoth with a nice clean hold here. That would be nice. Look, another roller.
Moss just putting this out of bounds. So potentially Manly are going to go back to the well. Look to that zone.
I really like that. Don't let your opponent get a couple of free passes and set their offense up. Get them on a sideline and have to work from there. Especially if they're a little bit, gun shy, coming off a couple of lost points here.
Seb Brown walking it up for Mammoth, and Manly will sag into their zone defense. They're going to try and hold it on that high sideline. Leask. Brown, they work in close quarters, trying to manipulate the cup. That initial wall of players, they're looking for gaps. Leask, for a moment, thought about the inside throw. Betson cutting it off, playing on this near side win for Manly. Andrews just passing off the cut. Nice zone play. Kucharski back to Leask. Really nothing doing for Manly at the moment. And the wind continuing to bluster. Here we go, Kucharski. They've got space and off they go to the races, do Mammoth.
That was a great jailbreak there, wasn't it?
Cameron can't continue the offense. Cook goes back.
Great catch from Leask.
Leask. The give go. Just gesturing down the field. Oh, that's going to float, and Andrews just picking the pass off. Andrews straight through the middle of the field. Betson goes around the corner. Miller. Oh. Andrews catches a laser. Oh, and then Nick Lyer. The laser goes straight through his hands. Cook.
Oh, poor Dave Andrews.
Gets the disc in play through Anderson. Cameron. These players move past him. O'Meara. Moss. Huge bid that Leask gets it. And Leask has a word to say.
Leask did not like that bid from Noah. And I think he's got a little bit, maybe overcooking it a bit, but I think it's fair enough to sort of ask the question, did you really need to make that bid knowing that you're going to truck me? Let's have a closer look. Gee.
Good
That
catch by Leask.
Yeah, it was a great catch from... Let's have a look. Yeah.
Bit unsafe, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
On the replay, I was initially going to come down on Noah's side, but I think on the replay, yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. I think one thing for Noah there is that he didn't realise that Alex was going to come up that far.
He changed his line, didn't he?
Yeah, that his bid was going to meet Alex. So I'll give, because Noah's not a dirty player, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt that he didn't realise he was going to contact. But from Leake's point of view, it's like, man, you fucking trucked me there.
I think Leask needs to just realise that he's playing against some young men, and you don't need to give them an excuse to fire up. I think that a reaction there doesn't help Mammoth's cause.
That's an interesting one. Or does it? Was it even a chance for Mammoth to say, hey, we're not going to get pushed around by you guys?
Maybe their chance to fire up.
Yes, exactly. And that may just be it.
So I love that perspective. I love that idea. Because it is that interplay between the two teams. And, you know, a long time ago, we used to talk about the temperature of the game. And the temperature would only ever rise. And once a bar had been set, like that's the bar that you played to. A lot has changed since then, but with regards to, you know, intensity and intent and getting after it, Matt Diggins is all kinds of free bets and seen him late.
He's
way too late. And Diggo's going to have to do a lot here against two. Perry lets it go. Diggo falls. It's out of bounds by the looks as Joseph Morrissey comes sliding in. It looked like he was on the line.
Now, I think Rex, our cameraman, has got this. I think... now, let's have a
timber
look.
trying to make their way under the marquee.
He tracks it well. He's still in at this point. I think he's in.
I don't know.
Well, have another look. I actually think he puts his foot down inside the line, makes the catch, and then slides out. Let's have a look.
The problem is, John, at what stage does he take control of the Frisbee?
Well, that's right. We can't see that because it's all within...
Oh, yeah.
Okay. The higher shot is the better one. I think we had a Finney on the sideline there.
Yeah, we got someone's head
We got Finneyed on the sideline, but the high one might tell us something. It does depend on when he actually takes control of the disc.
Because there is a point where he's inbounds.
There, right? And then he slides out. So it's all about when he got control, and we don't know. If this goes back, there's not a lot wrong with it going back.
And if it ends up as a goal, there's not a lot wrong with that either.
That's
it's one of those 50-50s. We'd need a reverse angle, really, to...
Yeah. Look, it's going back. That's ultimate for you, isn't it? We're not sure. Let's send it back.
Because I think, like, whatever choice you make there or whatever the result is, you're 50% wrong, aren't you?
Yeah, that's right. And you know what? And VAR, look, even our replays weren't conclusive. That's just life. I must say, though, it was an ill-advised shot.
It was too late.
He waited way too late.
The opportunity to throw it to Matt Diggins was, you know, two or three heartbeats before when he actually threw it. So Manly will get another go at this. Zhao. Here's Diggins popping up. Zhao. Comes back to Diggins. Oh, that is a throw that Mello eats.
Now, this is another interesting one, Dan. I actually feel that Diggo put that way too high. Defender had every right to go up for that, and the receiver sort of
stopped and went back, right?
And went backwards. So
we've got all of the...
Yeah, it's all happening here.
It's always that question of, right, who created the contact?
Yeah.
Who did what to actually cause the contact? It did look like...
To me, there was definitely the Manly receiver here. If we have a look, it's a bad throw. It's a high-release flick that goes too high, and then he sort of backs into the defender. Yeah.
Johan Xiao. So it looks like Xiao is going to have an injury, which fair enough, because Kevin Mello didn't miss.
Yeah, that's right. But, you know, Kevin Mello had every right to go up for that, you know, so...
So turnover stands, I think that's...
Yeah, that's a good result and good spirit from Manly.
Honey. Oh, and Diggo's just got it back on Scott Perry as well. Cameron goes quick to Betson. Zhao back to Betson. Diggo in space. Here's Jung. Hard cutting down the field for the Manly Mullets. Zhao. Out to Betson.
This is a great matchup. Diggo and Scott Perry.
Victor Jung. Matt Diggins.
Continuation stop by Perry, but now he's completely open.
Diggins is taking it to Scott Perry at the moment. Diggins with a good look at the end zone. He's going to float one out there. And that is a big-time goal for the Manly Mullets into Joseph Morrissey.
That was a great point to watch. And you know what? I think even though there were a couple of contentious moments, it was really well handled. I think everyone's, their spirits locked in here. The temperature has been set. The frogs aren't boiling, okay?
Because I think that is one of the great things about modern Ultimate is that the temperature, at least with regards to tempers, can come down. And does.
Yeah.
All the teams these days do a really good job of not getting too worked up in the moment. Like the intensity bar might rise and there might be, that little bit of push.
Yeah.
At least internally, but...
Yep, and we saw a great matchup there. Scott Perry and Diggo. Now, what I love there, Scott Perry made the right decision there. He had to stop that flow. But even as he was stopping that flow, he was probably realising, if I get caught in a give-go here, I'm in trouble, and Diggo ended up throwing the goal. And I must say that Scott Perry has recently made the best decision of his life, marrying Catherine Smith. And so I wish that happy couple the best years of their life that are coming up in front of them, and I wish them all the best. Two great ambassadors for Ultimate and for life in general.
Yeah, lovely people, the both of them. Catherine Smith, great Ultimate player in her own right. And I think Scott had a little bit of work to do actually to track his wife down in terms of achievements and ability, but he has in recent years. He's come along and really developed as a player over time.
Yeah. We saw it, Diggo. This high release garbage. Oh yeah,
nothing like a little bit of banter from the commentary box. Matt Diggins.
He got a
great sense of humour as well. He takes it well.
Righto, Dan. Here we go. We've got a brick here.
Big moments for Mammoth. 6-4 down in this game. Throw out to Kujarski. Oh, that's a piece of that's still gone through to Cook. And Cook going to lay it out into space. Yeah, that's a score for Manly.
Boy, they got it onto this near side and didn't look back. Tell you what, Manly were close to a touch there. And this has been the little difference I've noticed in the game. Manly have got enough that they're getting touches on these throws. I suspect that Mammoth have not seen that level of intensity in their practices so far. This is why this tournament is so important for them. They realise, I need a little bit more on these throws.
You see Nick Lyer as well. As he was getting up, he made the gesture like, I touched that. I got to that. Joel Cook with a great adjustment while the disc was in flight to just adjust, catch, keep the flow going. Mammoth, rule.
That was a very nice point for them. So, what do we got? 6-5 to the Manly Mullets now. But they're on O. So, Mammoth really need a break here. And, let's see. Can Manly... So, if Manly... Again, we talk about moments. I feel like this is a moment. Your Mammoth just on the back of a very nice point. They could create some momentum themselves if they get a break. Even a turn here is going to be valuable for them. But for a break, this would definitely be one of those momentum-changing moments.
And for Manly, that moments where the pressure swings, the pressure is on the offense to hold.
Yeah.
That is the expectation. So even if the players don't feel pressure, there is the weight of expectation on them as they receive the disc. So the onus is on them. The only way that the other team can get it out of their hands is if they turn it over. Zhao getting the break past as now Manly have to work against a zone defense of their own. Zhao just holding it off, finding Matt Diggins. Diggins has let one go that is going to get blocked. Up comes Daniel Burrows. Huge moment, John Greenfield.
Oh.
You called it.
Yep.
They get the Frisbee on the end zone line. As now Anthony Honey walks to the end zone line. There's no mark on him. Manly have left him free. We got free arms and immediately finds Liam Grimmond. Mammoth get a huge break in the context of the game.
That's a momentum changer. And all it took was that slightly errant throw. Mammoth good enough to make it a contest with Ernie. Ernie's just stuck underneath it. Not a lot he could do. Even that last pass to Grimmo. Thank goodness for Grimmond's good and safe hands there. The way he's gesturing to his team here. He knows how important that goal is and how this could be the start of a run for Mammoth if they can ride this. Manly, still a young team, still perhaps susceptible to getting down on points and not taking the garbage out and starting with a fresh mind. Now, is Noah on this line? I think
he is.
He is, yes. And they've got Ernie back. That's important. No need to just throw everything out and start with a fresh 7.
Yeah, I think at moments like these, Noah Moss is playing brilliant, as he always seems to do. But I think it's Cameron Jewell and Dave Andrews now, two senior members, and athletic senior members. I think they need to set a bit of a tone here on offense. I think they need to lead the way.
Yep.
Out of the stack, right? If Mammoth bring that match defense, I think this point is on them to lead.
I think Mammoth are going to go again with that zone. They realise they got a sniff, make them a bit nervous seeing the same look. I think they will, but I totally agree with you. I think Cameron is the kind of guy who will come out for you. He's just that solid dude who will come out on 9. You know, you're stuck on 9, he'll be there upfield for you. Dave Andrews, as you say, best athlete out there, and they're going to have to look for him for those bailouts. He's your bailout man. Cameron's your stall count 9 guy. But let's see. Will they come down on this zone? I reckon they have. Let's see.
Scott Perry with a pull that catches an edge. And yeah, they've gone zone here, John. Mammoth sticking with what works until it gets beaten. Oh, that's a laser. He's overthrown the streaming Sasha Bell from 50 yards away.
Wow. It was a good look. He just got the wrong shape, just slightly. But another chance here.
Big chance for Mammoth. Take another break here. Perry, he's overthrown. He tracks it down anyway. Perry's going to huck it. It's 2v1. In against both. Oh, it is Alex Osborne. We saw him make a huge block early in the game, and now he's just roofed 2 Manly Mullets. Cameron Jewell and Noah Moss look around in confusion. And Alex Osborne, huge play. Huge play by the big Queenslander.
Isn't this just beautiful to watch, Dan? Firstly, I thought Scott was way too late on his decision here. Yes, Osborne had steps, no doubt about it, but defenders were able to get back. But he just picked the perfect place right in between those 2 defenders to get the big southpaw up and take the grab. We are now, I told you this is now the momentum change. That's all it took. And now, very smartly, Manly have taken a timeout. They need to change the momentum and stop the momentum of Queensland and sneak it back. And this is smart because they're going to be coming out on 0. If they just take a breath and play like they know they will score. Boy, this is a big moment for Manly and how they're going mentally in their season. They know they've got the chops to easily walk this goal down. It's still a little bit downwind. They've got the measure. They've got all of the skills that they require. Yeah, just brilliant. This has been a great game already. 7-6 to Mammoth.
Love that we get treats like this in the official start to the season for 2025. The Manly Mullets, I think what you're saying, John, is exactly right. that confidence to know that they've got the chops, and that this is not a time to panic. This is just a time to convert your O.
Yeah.
Go back to what you do on the daily for a lot of these players where they're playing Ultimate regularly.
Yeah.
Cut and throw.
And look, I don't even mind Noah rolling the dice on that Froda Sasha belt. I think it was a good look. It was a tough look because it was same third. So it had to be
Inside out
precise.
forehand. It
It had to be precise. So, but I don't mind the look, but it did. You roll the dice, and it just didn't. It didn't work. And I'd like to see him be patient in those moments, as you say. There's no time to panic, but now is the time to really lock in, isn't it? They've got to lock in here and just score the goal.
Well, we've been talking a lot about context, situations in the game that they don't tend to change too much, and it's moments like these where it's like, okay, we've just given up 2 breaks. We need to make sure that there's not a third. That is the job, and you'll find yourself in that position often where you might give up 1, you may give up 2, but as long as it's not 3, you're not out of the game. You're not out of the game by any stretch.
Yep.
To take it to 7-all, irrespective of who scores to take half, you're in it, and you're happy with that. You can come out after the break. You can throw a mean defense.
And yeah, you're right. Just looking too. This is a short roster for Manly. Normally they've got heaps. This
only
looks like
13 this weekend.
13. This explains why people are backing up. Still, this is early in the tournament here.
Jung catches that after Jake Betson lets it go past. Bit of a bump from Jem Oliver. Moss. Alfie Edgeworth out on the far side. Betson gets it back and dishes it off to Noel Moss. The key man for Manly. And Moss continuing to catch every other pass. The scuba fake. Victor Jung. Noel Moss. Mammoth settling. It's a zone look. Oh, that's going to sit up. Diggins catches under pressure. Betson. Jung for the score. It's into Alfie Edgeworth.
That was close to the ground, that last throw, but I've no doubt it was up. Manly did what they needed to do. Took the time out. Stopped the blood flow. Locked in, even though how tight was that? Diggo, that was a clutch grab, really. In the context of the game, that was a clutch grab. And then that pass to end it.
But you would have to say, John, that really, apart from that grab with Matt Diggins, Manly very composed in that offensive point.
Yes. Yeah, and they needed to be. And that shows the sort of level of maturity that's coming through with the athleticism, is these moments where they need to show composure.
Galaxy point, John?
Yeah.
Second game out of 3.
All right. Bring it on.
Seen Galaxy point. And Cameron Jewell currently holding the disc for Manly. Looks like he'll take the pull.
Yeah.
And well, wouldn't this be, a big moment? Mammoth, they just want to get to half, I think. They need to get to half.
Yeah.
But for Manly to take half away from Mammoth here, again, contest the game, the mental side of things.
Completely. Yeah, this could be a great momentum steal by Manly to score this. Let's see. It's all on Mammoth now.
Jewell just goes with a flat one that gets good distance. Kucharski. Alex Leask. Brown.
Oh.
Leask. He's got some pressure. Leask looking. Stead breaks back to the near side.
Well done, Alex. Right option.
Ben O'Meara. Leask is gone. Dragging players away. Joel Cook. Now James Cameron. Alex Leask. Mammoth putting it together. Cameron. It's out in front of Cameron. Cameron doesn't bid.
Did Cameron pull up a little bit early there? I hope he's not injured. No. Okay. Look, they did everything right. Just overcooking that It's not the first time we've seen someone overcook a pass on that far side on a flick. Right, this is it, Dan. This could be the momentum steal.
So the Manly Mullets, an opportunity to engage in some thievery. And Ernie Zhao brings it in. Edgeworth cuts first to try and create an angle for the offense and get them off that sideline. Zhao comes across. The poach is there. And Zhao throws the poach. Edgeworth wisely going to the break side. Miller back to Ernie Zhao. Zhao just not wanting to put the disc in the air. As Johan Seo was a long way down the field, the disc would have spent a lot of time in the air.
Oh.
An assist from Cameron Jewell to Ernie Zhao. Zhao's going to reach with the left-handed backhand. Down the field they go. Leiska's been completely boxed out by Nick Lyer. I think that... Oh,
all right,
mate. I
okay.
think Alex Leis has been completely boxed out there, fairly.
Yep. Let's have a look.
I mean, they're both pushing and shoving. I think that Leisk is just being caught on the wrong side.
Yeah, I think it's a fair fight for position.
Leisk is...
He's trying to get in there.
he's pushing, but I think the disc has ended up in the right hands.
Yeah.
But anyway, what do I know? I'm just a pundit, John.
Oh, yeah. Hey, we've all got opinions. I'm throwing mine out there. Sorry, Grimo. Have a look. Have a look. See, he's pushing in a lot. He's pushing in a lot. Okay. I think what happened there is Alex is a good read of the disc, but he found himself unable to get into the nightclub.
Yep.
The bouncers were shoving him out at every opportunity. Now, what's happened here?
So it'll go
They've
back
gone
on
back.
the contested.
All right. Okay.
Contested foul.
Rightio.
I've never...
Well, Ernie hadn't spent a lot of time thinking about that throw.
No.
So
imagine a low stall situation here for Ernie, but he'll need to look to a reset pretty quick.
Again, a little test of the composure. Such an important point again.
So Zhao now does find that reset in Seo.
That's great work.
Seo wants it long and is going to look for Cameron Jewell. The wind affecting it enough.
Oh, what a moment. Cameron there. I said he was the 9 man. He just needed to get his mitts over that one. But game's still live. I mean, Mammoth need to work this all the way down. There's a disc on the field. They're going to have to stop for that.
So Alex Leis will bring it up to the front of the end zone. And Mammoth will get to go to work again. Oh, that's too big. First throw, turnover. Another look at it for Manly. And you would have to say that you don't want to give this team too many looks. They're going to find a way. As almost all these teams that play at the Division 1 level will. Oh, that's not it. Lyer with a throwaway.
With so much on the line, the game's gotten scrappy.
Hasn't it? All of a sudden, the nerves starting to affect both teams. Mammoth, though, they're past halfway. Cameron to the near sideline. Cook throws the fake and then throws the inside. Another turnover. A travel call, just to add. I think we call those a Clinton travel.
Well, okay, you could say that the receiver there should have been heads up, but you know what? If he's not looking, don't throw it.
I'm not sure what the travel is on, because it looks like he came up to the line. There was no real force on. So, like, why call travel?
Righto.
That's why it's a Clinton travel. That's what I used to do. Terrible travel calls. Don't call travels like me. In the end, I just stopped because I couldn't do it.
Just stop trying to... Oh!
Massive play.
Oh,
Tom Anderson. Huge, huge play.
it's a long leg, and he got it out there.
Leask is going to pick this up. Leask with an opportunity to throw the half-time. Stick to what you're good at. Leask,
Yes,
easy.
of course.
He's a good thrower.
Yeah.
And Mammoth, you would have to say that is a scrappy half-time. No winners in the end, I don't think.
Well, Mammoth is the winner. They've kept their momentum rolling. It was winning ugly in that last point. But they did it, and they did it downwind. I must say, I wasn't a fan of that foul call. And Manly, they're going to have to suck that disappointment up of what they probably believe was a goal, and having to come back. But second half, Mammoth come in with the momentum, and it's up to Manly to wrest that momentum off them.
Yep. And I think on balance, John, like, yeah, calls happen, and sometimes they go one way, sometimes they go the other. In the context of that point, they both turned it over another 2 times each. So, you know, and Tom Anderson, brilliant block. That's what created it. And you have to say, in the end, Mammoth, they've earned that. They've earned that half-time. So both teams will head to the break. They'll have a drink. They'll have a bit of a talk about the game. And we'll be back with the conclusion of this superb men's match here shortly. Okay, that's a half-time in the books. Back here at the Newcastle Gold Cup, the unofficial official start to the split-gender season for 2025. The Manly Mullets down 8-7 against the tourist from Queensland. Manly playing against Mammoth Ultimate, and neither of these teams really have played against each other too much. Often it's just nationals where a team from New South Wales would get the opportunity to play against Mammoth. Mammoth looking to change their fortunes around after being perennial contenders, falling well off the pace in 2024. So far, their game today has looked pretty good. Brown finds Alex Leask. It's been the centre of this offence, the point at which it has been orbiting around. Kucharski's been good as well, the young gun, proving to be an able deputy. Cook, it looks like it's in and out of the hands of Cook. There's Nick Lyer. This is played in. Cook goes straight through, finding James Cameron. Leask. Mammoth continue to work, just getting what meters they can. Managing to keep the stall count low, which is good. Oh, and there's the play. A huge layout block. Joseph Morrissey. Betson comes to Victor Jung. Here's Andrews. Andrews to the streaming Caleb Miller. And now to Andrews, he's going to lace him out. Andrews goes and gets it. The Manly Mullets come straight back out of half with a score 8-all.
Oh, didn't you think they overcooked that down win pass?
Oh,
but it is Dave Andrews.
Phenomenal athlete. Both the Andrews brothers are brilliant athletes. We see the block by Joseph Morrissey. Playmaking ability.
Just burn down the line. It is a difficult pass downwind to a leading receiver. So well done, Manly. And back to 8s. This is a game and a half.
I'm really enjoying this game, John. It's everything you hope for.
For this early in the season, to have this quality of game, I think this is so important for Mammoth to have come down and had this experience. Because we saw in the first half, they were not expecting some of the Ds that were put on them because their trainings weren't preparing them for that intensity of defence. But they'll be able to go away now and take that information and know that they've got to put a bit more on their passes.
And it is about that preparation, isn't it? That just getting your mind around how fast the game needs to be played, getting used to the window, the space that you have or you don't have in the case of this match.
Yeah. It appears as Manly, I wonder if their internal scrimmages have got a bit more intensity than Mammoth's. That's another possibility.
Well, Leask is, looks like he's given himself up. He dropped it. And full credit to Alex Leask. That's possibly one of the most spirited plays you'll see. Giving yourself up when everyone's looking at you. Hard to do, and he's done it. Full credit to him. What a champion. Moss gets it off to Zhao. Moss, who started with such an explosive show in the first few points. He's been less involved for Manly down the latter half of that first half. Here's Betson.
Look how much ground they're giving up. I'll talk about this at the end, but I do not like this end zone play.
They're stretching it out, and it's leaving Manly to go backwards at the moment. Thrower initiated out to Bell. Bell on the end zone line looking for Noah Moss. And Moss goes in. Manly, they come back with a break straight out of half. Mammoth down 2 points.
Well, we talked about momentum, and Mammoth that was lost in the halftime translation. But going back to, they had on the end zone line, okay? But they chose to play their end zone setup with an isolated player in the centre and other players on the corners. I just don't like it, because if you're standing on the sideline in the end zone on a corner, I'm coming in and poaching. So the space for that receiver, it's never enough. And if you're a smart defender, you will not allow that person.
It's very reminiscent of like the field runner and a few of those isolation sets that, were very much the rage during the noughties. And yeah, like you say, like defenses adjusted to them, and they started to poach off and try and make it a bit of a mess instead of allowing just that one-on-one look for that class receiver. And with only 3 minutes left to play in regulation until the soft cap, Mammoth they're now looking at being down when, for large points of this game, they've been in control.
Yeah.
But Manly have done really well to keep it close.
Yep. Let's see.
Well, that's what they're all playing for, the Gold Cup. Is literally gold.
And yeah, it's 24 carats solid gold. No one knows that. No one realised that it was actually real gold. And don't tell anyone, Dan.
I thought it was spray paint from Super Cheap.
Well,
there you go. 24 karat gold. We heard it on good authority. John Greenfield has guaranteed it. Leask. Manly have gone back to their zone. Dump to Ben O'Meara. O'Meara running this offense. Grimmond has overdone it. And it just goes to ground in front of Kujarski. Moss gets to the disc quickly to get it in play. Huge opportunity for Manly to go 3 points in a row. Betson. Moss. Moss. Oh, I don't know what he's seen. He's seen the player out the back of Joseph Morrissey, and he's just thrown it around Alex Leask.
Well, Alex Leask, whether he was in the game there, and I felt like he was going to track that down, but again, it was a downwind throw, but Moss got the right edge on it and just let the wind sail into the back of the end zone for the goal here. Now, Grimmo here, just too quick, wasn't he? He was just a release too quick, a bit too cash. That's a turnover they really didn't need. They didn't want it, they didn't need it. It was an unnecessary turn, but look at the touch here from Moss.
I think Leask he got caught in two minds. I don't think that he realised who was coming behind him, because he looked like he was about to track his man, and then the throw went up. So he was caught flat-footed, because I thought he was playing in space. Turns out that he wasn't.
Yeah.
He just happened to be the closest player to the throw. Another timeout call.
Yeah, well, again, this is now, given the late stage of the game, 3 on the trot for Manly, it feels like a last roll of the dice for Mammoth to wrest control of the game back again.
And something I've always found interesting, John, given the disrupted's not the right word, but I can't think of the word right now, but the disjointed maybe nature of offense versus defense, the gap between points, you wouldn't think that momentum would be a thing, but it totally is in Ultimate.
Yeah, yeah. It's even in even more unlikely sports like cricket. Momentum is a feature of sport, so you've got to be thinking that the bulk of it is mental. It's how players are perceiving how they're doing on the field, how much risk they're willing to take. And you see flat track bully teams who just look so good when they're in front. You're like, how could this team ever lose? And then they get into a scrap and you realise, well, they're just, it's the bravery of being out of range. So,
and I love that Mammoth have found themselves in a scrappy game here.
Yeah.
Because this is these are the kinds of games that you're going to find yourselves in at Nationals. You know, there are going to be times where either you're 10-8 up or you're 10-8 down, and you need to put it together. Down the stretch, time's running out. All right, now we're in the stage where the points count. So, great experience for them and their prep for the season, and great experience for Manly as well, because they're also going to go to Div 1, and they are also building on the success of their last season.
Yeah.
They're the potential to go deep. Both of these teams, potential to go deep in the tournament. A roller by Noah Moss.
Yep. You got to love it. I think that's, you can see where the Mammoth player is marking it. That is an exceptional pull, isn't it? Up breeze, getting a roller to roll out, and presumably they're going to roll out their zone alongside it. Yep, they've got a zone on.
And managing to get it to go out inside the red zone, I think that's a skill. It's something he's clearly practiced, because he's done it a couple of times now and he's not missed one yet. And I hope I haven't just cursed him for the rest of the weekend, but here comes Leask. Kujarski. All the way across the field. Lays it in by Tom Anderson. The bid. Picked up by James Cameron. Oh, that sits. Leask gets caught. He tracks it down. Leask goes back inboard to James Cameron. Leask again. He throws the around. Anderson. O'Meara. Mammoth. They're patient so far. Cook, who's been good today.
Stoppage for the disc on the field.
That would be the I-beam boys being problematic.
Always trying to get a look in online.
Leask. Cook. Leask. He's in a good spot here, but he's looking at a zone, so he's forced to just continue to work the disc around until, yes, they've found the look, and it's Sebastian Brown for the score. That's Mammoth's 9th.
That was the kind of composure they really needed. Okay, they've done the job that they needed to do. Got the downwind with that beautiful roll. Let's not forget, that was the exact setup that Manly wanted for their zone. But, yeah, Mammoth, a great offensive roll there for the goal.
Okay. Mammoth are on defense. It's go time.
Yeah. Well, and now the question is, what can Mammoth do to disrupt the Manly offense? Would they do... Remember when they got the original... It was 6-all or 5-6, and they got the original break that we talked about, and it was with the zone. And they got that janky one to Ernie. I wonder if they could go back to a zone here, just to sort of slow Manly down.
Well, here's my question for you, John. At that stage, the zone was a wrinkle. It was brand new.
True.
Now, we're down the stretch. We're 75 minutes into this game. Is it going to have that same effect?
No, you're right. You're right. Yeah, no, it's a very good point.
Especially now, you know, Ernie Zhao and Noel Moss have both, they've seen it. They've had a good look at it, and they've had some opportunity to possess the plastic a little bit.
Yeah, to know what works and what doesn't. No, you're right. Well, let's see what they come up with.
I'm a proponent of match, especially when you need a turn. It's really the way in which you can apply pressure. Moss just leans into the mark. They will have to work against the zone. So the Manly Mullets.
Oh,
Moss in front of the flashing bid by Daniel Burrows. Oh, there's a cleating.
But this is good for Mammoth. They're putting a lot of pressure around the resets here. And there's a tempting look at a hammer here, or a swing.
Moss gets the continuation pass from Zhao.
Rest assured, Noah's looking for that, and he gets it.
Sasha Bell, who is looking to be quite the talent. Oh, and Moss has just grounded it.
Well, I got it.
An unforced error, you would have to say. Here comes Anthony Honey, and Honey's going to stretch it out, looking for Kyle Hunter. Huge block up high. Dave Andrews.
If he'd known the receiver, he wouldn't have pulled the trigger. Or if he'd known the defender, I should say.
I mean, Andrews is just... And he's always been that. In a nutshell, that is Dave Andrews. Oh, dear. No, Moss overcooks it. Bell nearly gets to it. Holy smokes. Bell, no right to even get close to that, and yet gets a hand on it. Mammoth now, another opportunity. They're not going to get too many. They need to punch this in. Mello has no pressure, finds Honey, and then Liam Grimmond. Manly at 6s and 7s. Grimmond identifies the mistake and goes. Here's Grimmond getting involved. Grimmond through a gap. There's not much space there.
Wow.
Mammoth, they've brought it back to 10s.
This game finds yet another momentum change, another wrinkle, another level.
You love to see it.
Oh, that was a good gap from Scott Perry. And look at this, jamming it into there. And then 2 bids on this throw. And yet, Grimmo finds the needle, the camel through the eye of the needle there.
But I think that is a good indication of the commitment in this Manly Mullets team. Ernie Zhao, not known for his layouts, but there he was, throwing everything he had at trying to get the block there.
Yeah. Yep. It's
so
10
all at the moment. And I'm thinking, is it a game to 11, John?
Yeah, well, it's got to be a game to 11, surely. What are we at? 70...
8 minutes and 16
78.
seconds.
Well, no, they've still got to play this point out.
Okay.
Yeah, so it'll be game to 12.
Okay. The momentum that was with Manly has now been wrestled away and it's back with Mammoth as they've scored a couple on the trot.
Yep.
A game of runs,
yep.
At least here in the second half.
That's been brilliant. So interesting to see, and just both teams pretty well matched athletically, maybe Manly a bit more athleticism.
Oh, dear.
But, yeah, mentally, it's been a real battle of the minds, this one.
Moss. Some critical mistakes by Lower Moss down the stretch, and it's hurting Manly at the moment. The superstar from the Beaches. He's had some critical turnovers. So now Mammoth, they get another turnover. One out on the sideline. Honey goes in and away. Still Mammoth trying to generate something down the field. Honey gets in front. Betson covers it well. Big bid by Moss. Oh, that is a wobbler. Darren Jung out of the hand. Moss just sticks it. He's reaching for Dave Andrews. Dave Andrews. Oh, the afterburners are on.
Oh, what an opportunity. Now, can you believe the bad luck for Mammoth there? That wobbly flick ends up in the hands of Noah Moss. And who's at the back? None other than Dave Andrews heading towards the end zone. Oh, that was game. What a fantastic game.
And I love to see Noah Moss throw the assist.
Oh,
I think that he had a horror last couple of points, critical turnovers.
Yep.
But love to see him throw that goal because I think that is, at the end of the day, that's deserved.
Yeah.
Noah Moss had a good game, and to not go out on that note,
yeah.
I think he might have taken it a bit hard. But
and you get a feeling the 2 MVPs combined there. Noah with his throw, Dave with his athletic receiving. And what bad luck for Manly that those two should be the ones. Noah to pick it up first and then Andrews to go along. But they had their opportunity, Mammoth.
They did.
What a fantastic game.
Absolutely unreal. Mammoth, it's great to have them here, and I think Yeah, they're going to be a little bit disappointed to lose there, John, but I think on balance, the perspective and the big picture is, hey, we just had a tough game against 6th from last year. Okay, we're around the mark right now. We're a top 8 team at this stage. If we can keep building, we can work on what we've done here. We can go back, we can change a few things. Hey, we're not far off where we need to be as a team heading into the Div 1 Nationals.
Totally agree. What a treat.
And a treat to have you as well, John. It's been wonderful, this game. On behalf of ULTI.TV, I think we're going to wrap it up there for this game. But we'll be back very, very soon with the rest of today's action here from the Newcastle Gold Cup, the unofficial official start to the split gender season here for 2025.
ULTI.TV.